Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshramiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Gananam Tvam Ganapatigam Avamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranmannutibissida Sadhanam Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Saraswati Mahabhogi Vidya Kamalalochani Vidya Rupe Vishalakshi Vidyamdihi Namostate Om Saraswati Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahana Bhunakto Saviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So Hari Om. A very warm welcome to everyone, especially to Sri Kalyabayaji. Very happy that you're going to be sharing with us today. His family has a long-standing relationship with the ashram. His grandfather used to come here quite often, Mr. Dayaji. I remember a few conversations I had with him, so we fondly remember him. And it's so wonderful to see, how in a family spirituality can be continued, Some may say it's a genetic thing, it's in the genes. But there are some spiritual genes, like Levi. But of course, we also know that the soul is drawn to that which it resonates to. So a spiritual soul, a soul with spiritual inclination, where there's a spiritual awakening, will obviously also be drawn to a spiritual family. As Bhagavad Gita explains this very beautifully. So we welcome you. And I don't know much of your background in Veda and so on, but we'll find out now as you will share with us. And also very warm welcome to all of you. So nice to see a nice turnout. And on a Friday evening, to be here at the Ashram. And you will now realize that definitely beats Netflix. Welcome to all. And I'll hand over to you. And yes, please, all the chanting now you can correct my pronunciation.
Mukam karati vachalam pangum langhayati girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanam maham. To the one who can make the mute speak, make the lame man cross the entire Himalayan mountain range, to that very one with whom when we dwell upon, think upon, contemplate upon, fills us with supreme transcendental divine bliss, to that Lord of Lords, offering most reverential prayers to avatars, masters, saints, prophets, higher angels, gods, ancestors, to our masters, Swami Sivanandaji, Bhagwan Shri Sati Sadhavaji, offering reverential salutations, prostrations, and adorations. Thank you so much, Swamiji. It was very kind and loving words, and sharing from album of your heart the beautiful memories with my Dadaji. I truly appreciate it, and my Dharima. Most revered elders, dear sisters, brothers, and loving children. No children yet today. But I think when I look around, I only see youthful faces. They say we are as young as our faith, as old as our doubt. And when I look around, I only see glowing divine countenance and radiance and luminance filled with all your beautiful happiness and divine bliss. We are, after all, at the Ananda Kutir Ashram. Ananda, Ananda, Ananda. And that is truly what life and the message of the Masters is all about. To be in that supreme transcendental divine bliss. They say the greatest seva we can also do, the greatest sacrifice and offering, is just to make somebody smile. They say smile a while you smile, another smiles, so long there'll be miles and miles of smiles. And truly it's so beautiful. And just to reiterate what Swamiji said, you all are here on a Friday evening. And recently, Cape Town has been voted the most beautiful city in the world. So we could be in Camps Bay, watching the beautiful sunset, having a Chardonnay. We could be in the waterfront, watching a movie. We could be in Stellenbosch or Franschhoek. But we are here, sisters and brothers. There must be something, there must be a reason. They say not even a blade of grass can move without the divine will. And truly by divine design, there's some gravitational force bringing us all together in satsang. As Swami Sivanandaji would say, Satsangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nimorhatvam, nimorhatve nishlatatvam, nishlatatve jivan mukti. That from satsang, we lead, it leads us to detachment. And from detachment, it leads us to freedom in our mind from bondage, illusion, confusion, and delusion. The load shedding is gone. And as a result, we are in a state of oneness with the Lord. We are Jivanmukta, Jivanmukti. While we are on earth, we already feel that oneness with the Lord at all times. So just from satsang alone, being in this beautiful orbit of positive energy, we can feel that oneness with the Lord. Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba beautifully says that happiness is union with God. And all of you have truly also sacrificed your time. It is said in the Vedas, in a beautiful suktam, which we can come to now. What is the term suktam and thing? But one particular suktam, which is su and uktam, it just means beautifully expressed. That's what suktam would mean. Sannyasa suktam, which is a renunciation of the desires. And it says, Na karmana na prajayadane na tyage naike amritatvamana shuhu. That not by action, not by progeny, not by wealth, but only by sacrifice alone is immortality attained. So sisters and brothers, thank you so much for you have sacrificed your time being here this evening in satsang. How's everybody doing? Speaking of time, I hope it is valuable, this session, and I hope it is fun and enjoyable and interactive. Please at any time ask any questions. You might have noticed this little sweets. So at the end, just before the end, we'll have some quiz. And please try and share the answers and you'll get a sweet. So I'll open this now. And we'll keep it ready. Okay.
Is silence also an answer?
It is. So, okay, so we've got till, it's 6:30 now, we've got till 8 o'clock. Wow. So it's a beautiful session. And I think we can cover together quite a bit. So the first thing is, before we commence on this Veda voyage, we need to have a very important ingredient. This important ingredient is enthusiasm. Anything in life, anything we wish to embark on, requires this special ingredient, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, they say, comes from the Greek word enthusos, to be God intoxicated, but to be just filled with this ecstatic divine joy. And I think that that's such a beautiful ingredient to have each and every single day, enthusiasm. We have abundance of worry, abundance of stress. But enthusiasm, we should increase it. And it should be an ever-flowing fountain in our hearts. So, this beautiful marma from the Patanjali Sutras, where we take our right hand. Let's take our right hand. Beautiful. And below our index finger, this particular point over there, we're going to press 6 times with our left hand. We can use our index and our thumb of our left hand and press it 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, a bit firm you can press it. And you can press it every 2 hours throughout the day. And suddenly every single cell of our body is charged with enthusiasm. I can see you all smile. Please don't press it 7 times. So, another one we can also do is for very good memory. In fact, this merma can cure the Alzheimer's, and it's excellent for the students as well, for anybody wishing just to have a good retentive memory. It opens up our memory box, like we use a USB or we use the iCloud to store. So we take our left hand this time, and where our palm meets our thumb, that particular joint and point, we're going to press 6 times. Now we can use our right hand and press quite firm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Now we are smiling beautifully, full of enthusiasm, and we've got a beautiful open memory box. The last one we can do is, Vedas is all about broad-mindedness, all about expansive thinking, all about encompassing the oneness with all of creation. In Vedas, as beautifully Swamiji chanted, Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Punaktu, it's never about, may I be full with this knowledge, may I be nourished. Everything is about me. May we travel this journey together, may we be happy together, may we achieve our goal together. In all the chants of the Vedas, it is all about plural, we. So this is a super conscious state of being. This goes beyond the boundaries and the walls. And if we think about Rainbow Nation as well, it is the message of Ubuntu, I am because you are because I am. The same message of Advaita. So what we can do is take now our right hand and the index finger, just that top point over there. We notice 1, 2, 3. We just want the top point over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a super conscious state we are creating for ourselves. Beautiful. How does everybody feel? Happy? Enthusiastic. Wonderful. So we're feeling full with enthusiasm, we have a yearning for learning, and we are in a state of broad-mindedness. This energy will spread throughout the world and beyond. Shall we start the journey? Does everybody have their visa? You know, in the word visa, if you just swap around the va and the sa, you get siva. And I think we can transport anywhere as a result. Wonderful. So this is the market. Wonderful. This one. Awesome. Let us begin. Should we start with mathematics or geometry? Or geography? Okay. Let us begin this wonderful journey of the Vedas. Firstly, what does Veda mean? Would anybody like to try? Very interactive. No wrong answers. So Veda means, let's start at the top here. My handwriting is terrible, but I've just been, on WhatsApp and on the computer. I don't know if this is readable. Okay, Veda, we can say it's knowledge. So we'll write down some terms, and then because you press the memory box, now it will all. So you don't have to, if you want to write, you can write, and you can also, if you want to take your phones out, it might distract, you can put on airplane mode, you can just take notes as well. You can ask any questions at any time as well. So Veda means knowledge. Okay. My son's name is actually Ved. Luckily he's got his mom's brains. We named him that so that he has the knowledge. So Veda is knowledge. Awesome. And it comes from the root word vid. Sorry, I think it's
the
vid.
other one might work, Kutir.
No, still, because it's wet.
I think it's
Oh,
Vid.
it's
So it just moves to this side. Vid, which means to know. Okay, excellent. So now Veda means knowledge. It comes from root word, which means, which is vid, which means to know. Now, what do we want to know? So the rishis and the rishikas, who are these ancient spiritual scientists, they did not search on the internet. They rather surfed the internet. And they wanted to understand the purpose and the reason. Albert Einstein was once asked, if you could ask God anything, what would it be? He said, I would ask God, being a scientist, God, how did you create the universe? What was the formula? Then he thought for a moment and he said, rather, I would ask God, God, why did you create the universe? And these rishis and rishikas, they would inquire and they would tune into a beautiful frequency, like we tune into Cape Talk 567, Kai FM 94.5, Lotus FM. They could tap into this beautiful frequency. And these sound waves are pervading all around. And they would basically be able to download them. They did not author them, but they downloaded them and shared what they experienced. So Veda comes from the root word Ved, which means to know. They are searching and seeking the purpose of this journey of life. Now, these electromagnetic vibrations and sound waves, they were known also as Shruti. Let's write that down. Shruti. Anybody knows what Shruti means?
To hear.
Yes, to hear. It is that which is heard. Shruti. Cool. Now, because they were not authored, let's talk about Harry Potter. Who is the author of Harry Potter?
J.K. Rowling.
Fantastic. Who is the author of James and the Giant Peach?
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. But the Vedas are authorless, i.e., they are beyond the making of man. Whatever man builds, be it Taj Mahal, or Statue of Liberty, or a beautiful home, mansion, or any Taj Mahal. Do you see Taj Mahal? Eiffel Tower. It has a day of creating it and a day of expiration. It eventually will dissolve into elements. But the Vedas are eternal. It is said, Ananta Vai Vedaha. Vedas are infinite, timeless. So they're beyond the man-made. So they're known as Purushaya is man. Purushaya, the prefix, is not man-made, not man. So we think of himsa, violence, ahimsa, non-violence. Shanti, ashanti. So Purushaya is another term we can say. That refers to the Vedas because they are authorless, they're not man-made, they've come from the divine source. Okay, everybody, okay? You're welcome to close your eyes as well. I will not think you are sleeping. I will feel you're in a state of meditativeness and tapping into the divine frequency. So what it means is that the Vedas are all around us every single moment. We too can tap into. The ancient rishis, ancient rishikas are always pervading. And we speak about back then, but back then, whatever they experienced as well, they were able to share it. And they shared it through the oral tradition of teaching it as well. So hence it is known as Shruti, that which is heard, Purushaya, not man-made. And it also followed a particular rhythmic pattern. Like we have Shakespearean poetry, like Sonnet 116, love is not love, which alters when its alteration finds. or bends with the remover to remove, or Eminem. You know, Eminem's a good artist as well, but I can't speak the French. And then in Vedas, it follows particular chandas, a rhythmic meter. And chanda just refers to, you know, how is it orchestrated. So if we look at a Gayatri chanda, for example, Gayatri chanda would be having a chant which is set in, oh, it is a, beautiful. Gayatri chanda, let's speak about Gayatri chanda. And this might be quite familiar as well. A lot of our chants as well, our shorter chants are set in a Gayatri chanda. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gayatri chanda is 8 syllables by 3 lines. So if we look at it, Gayatri chanda like Ekadantaya Vitmahe, Ekadantaya Vitmahe, Vakratundaya Dhimahi, Tanno Dati Prachodaya. In the perfect. So you get different chandas as well. Anushtup chanda, Trishtup chanda. So the way Krishna would speak to Arjuna as well would be in the perfect meter as well. The way these rishis would receive it as well would be in the perfect meter. That's what makes the Vedas the most incredible and profound message. It is beyond the time of organized religion, but it refers to the true message of religion. Because religion, they say, comes from the root of the Latin word religare, which means to unite. So before the term Hinduism existed, Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, there was just this wonderful way of living, Sanatana Dharma. And what it shouted at the rooftop, it did not beat around the bush, it did not whisper, it shouted at its scriptural lung capacity that we are all divine. So the stupa, is it called stupa? At the
Oh, we just call it pillar.
the pillar.
Yeah.
Immediately it just fills you with that divine remembrance of who we truly are. The question of to know. They were right, yes, to know. It says across the faiths, kingdom of heaven is within you. There is nothing else but God. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. It just, I am that I am, Judaism. It just reinforces that faith. So let's first write down this last one, which is Chanda. And then, speaking on that sort of theme, the Vedas tell us in 4 great teachings known as the Mahavakyas. Mahavakyas, 4 great teachings that we are divine. It shouts it out at the rooftop immediately. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. Tattvamasi. Thou art that. Aham Brahmasmi. Did you say that one?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Now what? Tattvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. Sorry.
I am Atma Brahma.
I am Atma. Beautiful song. Thank you. I am Atma Brahma. And the last, that the self is divine. And the last one is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma, Bhagavan Sisati Sai Baba gives a lovely definition. He says it's CIA, not FBI, CIA. He says it's constant, integrated awareness. So the first part is constant. You're constantly realizing that this awareness of God, this consciousness, is integrated into every permutation and combination including the beautiful meow outside. Whoa! I think Baba's hearing us. We used to have a cat actually in the Sai Center at the old premise in Stalin. And she used to come on a Thursday and sit for the bhajan.
Oh.
And then at the end leave, and we just felt, wow.
Yeah.
And the Vedas is reminding us, we think of the rishis and the rishikas and sometimes put ourselves in their shoes, but they were probably barefoot. How would they live? They were completely worry-free because they lived on the message, thy will be done. They were in constant connection, right? They were always tuned into that frequency. So they were with the wildlife in the Aranyaka, in the forests, because there was no wildness, there was no wild fear from the animals because the vibration was harmony and love. They didn't go to the wellness store or Woolies to buy organic milk or organic food. Everything was natural. They did not use artificial intelligence, but they did use AI, Atmic intelligence. So they surfed within to try and uncover, discover who they truly are. And they could dive deep and share what they discovered. Such discoveries was a beautiful star which was 40,000 times the size of the sun. They termed it as Jyeshta, like in the beautiful Ganapati Pratna, Jyeshtarajam Brahmana, senior, 40,000 times the size of the sun. And NASA only 2 decades ago discovered it and termed it Antares. It's the power of the rishis, the rishikas. We have the iPhone today, but they, referring to Sai Baba's teachings, they had the Sai-phone. They would go within and they would understand things. They had vehicles that could travel, that could fly. Recently read an article which said that flying vehicle is coming very soon. Because the traffic on Chromebook is very bad, especially in the morning. I can't wait for that to happen. But we look at how if Rama and Lakshmana and Janaki couldn't get back in time to Ayodhya, Bharata was going to immerse himself in the fire. They had very limited time and they used Ravana's, I hope they asked Ravana's permission, but they used this Pushpaka Vahan, a beautiful swan that was aerodynamically created and could fly in the sky. So those are the types of vehicles. If we even look at the Sanskrit term Vahan, we think of the vehicles Volkswagen. So European, even up to today, Europe recognizes the greatness and the value of the Vedas. Every form of knowledge is found in the Vedas. So speaking of that, so we remember, okay, so let's say we done the 4 Mahavakyas. Awesome. So let's bring in a character now. Always nice to bring in a character. So imagine the Vedas to be an ocean. And sometimes all you need to do is just taste a drop and it encapsulates the entire taste. For example, if you're about to taste some dal or sambar, you just need a teaspoon to see if it doesn't have salt. And in the same way, the sweetness of the Vedas is such that you just taste a little bit and it encapsulates the entire essence of it, the fragrance of it. So this is an ocean of knowledge. So there was one particular oak whose name was Veda Vyasa. Vyasa means broad, like we said of the concept, but it also means compiler. And he lived his namesake. His other name, anybody know his other name? Krishna? Krishna. That can be one of the So Swamiji can't answer that question later on, but somebody else must ask it. Veda Vyasa. So in Guru Purnima actually, it's also known as Vyasa Purnima, because we thank Veda Vyasa for fostering the Vedas. They say when Dharma declines, the whole world will decline. When Vedas decline, the entire universe will collapse. So all the calamities that we actually see in the world today is due to neglect of the Vedas. And when Vedas is fostered and protected, nature in tune corresponds. So Veda Vyasa is a compiler. So imagine going to Pick and Pay or Checkers, or getting the Checkers 6060 app, and the bags arrive. Now you carry 3 bags to the kitchen. Are you going to put the bread in the, maybe you would put it in the fridge if you're going to eat it over extended time. Okay, another example. Are you going to put the chocolate where the knives go? Are you going to put the juice where the flour goes? Once I was asked to buy 5 roses. I came home with 5 extra roses. I wish they stipulated 2. So Veda Vyasa, he had all this beautiful ocean of knowledge, and what he did was he put it in the right cupboards, in the right fridge, and he categorized it accordingly into a beautiful acronym. Let us look at the acronym to remember it from chronological order. So Raisa is a nice way to remember. The first and the oldest is the Rig Veda. Beautiful. Rig Veda. Okay. What is the first term of the Rig Veda? Beautiful. That's the first one. The first line is Om. We'll just say Agni. Excellent. Beautiful. What are the last few stanzas of the Rig Veda? It's actually put together into a suktam. So 90, if you hear the term suktam, you get Narayana suktam, Vishnu suktam, Purusha suktam, Veda suktam, Durga suktam. It's 99% coming from the Rig Veda. So Rig Veda is all about adoration, expressing benevolence and beauty of the Lord. You can just contemplate on those verses. So the last part of the Rig Veda is known as Samana Suktam. And this lays emphasis on unity. In fact, it says Sangachatvam Samvadatvam Samvomanam Sejanatam Deva Bhagayata, that let us all have one goal together and achieve it together in unity. So we get the national anthem, which is Kozisikali. India's anthem is Jana Gana Mana. I think England is God Save the Queen or King. Is it? It is. But a universal anthem for the whole universe is Samana Sukta. In fact, if families chant it, corporations chant it, businesses chant it, family, friends, communities, societies, classrooms chant it, there will be unity. Sati Sai Baba says, first unity, then purity, then divinity. Again, Baba is saying, let us all work together. Let there first be harmony, unity, togetherness, oneness. That's the most important thing. And I've seen that in communities, people coming together as a result of this chant. In 2006, children from Kailicha started learning Vedas. They do not speak English fluently, some of them. Kosa is their natural language, mother tongue. But the manner in which they chant the Vedas, off by heart, they close their eyes and rattle off the Sri Rudram. It just resonates with them. And they've been chanting Vedas, and if you could call it a case study, their guardians were saying that the academics in school have just improved tremendously, their memory, but the way they communicate with everyone with so much love and harmony. It's beautiful. So these vibrations are doing something. So first line of the Rig Veda is Om Agnimile Purohitam. The last part is Samana Suktam, unity. It's a beautiful, beautiful chant. And it doesn't speak about, religion or any particular form. It just speaks about harmony and togetherness and working in oneness. Should we have a water break? Is everybody okay? A time out? Sure. We got a chef here, by the way, Ashram. He makes incredible paneer butter masala. Really, really wonderful.
Did he
butter.
bring any?
Fortunately not.
And speaking about food, I think Veda is very much like that, because when Hashir Bhai makes a beautiful paneer makhani, I think Veda is such that you enjoy it when you feel the vibrations, when you smell the fragrance of it, and when you taste it. It's so beautiful. So too, when we're chanting the Vedas, it is a wonderful bite of the sweetness of it, which you're going to come to. We'll have a practical aspect as well. Okay. Everybody well? Now we have next one. Very good. Wow. Amazing. Yajurveda. And Yajurveda comes from root word yaj or yajus, and it just means to sacrifice. As we said, the essence at the beginning, na karmana na prajaya, to sacrifice. Should we bounce into a quick story? Okay, this one's a bit trickier. Yajurveda's divided into two parts. Who would like to give it a shot? Okay. So the first part is Krishna. Krishna Yajur Veda. The next part is Shukla Yajur Veda. Now, how did these two parts come about? Should we go into a story? Awesome. So Veda Vyasa has a very good student. His name, a disciple. His name is Vaisampayana. The Vaisampayana is running an excellent Gurukula. Guru Kula. Kula is clan. Guru, preceptor, teacher. Where the Gurus gather together to share their knowledge, that is the Gurukula. Now his is just phenomenal. It's very hard to get in. It's an Ivy League institute. It's the Harvard of those times. Very difficult to get in. But there's one brilliant student that just is immaculate in his recitation, in his understanding of the deepest truths. His name is Yajnavalkya. Okay, Veda Vyasa's disciple is Vaisampayana. Vaisampayana's disciple is Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya is a brilliant student. Like he's on the Dean's Merit list, and he's just he gets all his results is magna cum laude. Actually, my father sent me to a school which is on Dean Street in the hope that I'll get onto Dean. And he fed me a lot of Magnum ice cream so that I could get magna cum laude. It never happened. So one day, so it happens in the classroom in the forest. The teacher is reciting and teaching, and Yajnavalkya, being the brilliant student he is, kind of blurts out the answer before the question is even completed by the teacher. This immediately infuriated the teacher, and in one sentence he said, "Leave the Gurukula and return all the knowledge that you've received." mentioning that. So how does he do it? He immediately obeys the Guru, Jo Agya Prabhu, and he vomits out all the knowledge. Yajnavalkya, Vaisampayan, the teacher, looks at all the students sitting, says, eat it. They all transform into titri birds, which are partridges, they're quite close to swallows. And they eat the different parts. And that becomes the Taittiriya Upanishad. Let's write that down. We can say that we can actually, okay. This you remember for the sweets, eh? For the section. Okay, so now we have Krishna Yajurveda, and this is the Taittiriya Upanishad. And this is broken up into 3 parts now. So just picture Vedas is a beautiful tree. There's just the roots are one, and it's just branching out. So we go to another branch now. So the first one, these are known as valleys, and valley actually means branch. So, or vines, like a vine of a branch. So the first one is, anyone know? Taittiriya Upanishad? 3 parts. Shiksha Valley. The Shiksha Valley deals with Shiksha, or pronunciation. So to chant the Vedas with the correct intonation, or the correct swar. And this is all about a whole beautiful expression in there. And it's the time where the teacher is preparing the student just before the student's about to graduate and leave and enter into the workforce, maybe join a corporate or, back in those days. That was a joke. So it also has very profound teachings. Matrudeva Bhava, Mother is God, first God. Pitrudeva Bhava, Father is the God. Father then leads you to the teacher, Acharya Deva Bhava. And the last one is Atiti Deva Bhava. Guest is God. That's why if you have met a friend from India, guarantee that friend will possibly call you on your birthday, on your mother's birthday, on your puppy's birthday, on your cat's birthday, on your aunt's birthday. That friend is for life because guest is God for them. But in the same way, mansion of this universe, everyone is a guest there. We're all on a temporary stay. Our bodies like Airbnb, our soul is just renting for a very short time. And Shiksha Valley is all about those teachings. Next one we have is Bhrigu Valley. Bhrigu. It's a story about, a beautiful story about a son named Bhrigu and the father named Varuna. Now, the father also happens to be his guru, which is very tricky as well. Because have you ever learnt how to drive with a family member? It's not the best. I would, no one would recommend that. Somebody's gonna get, what so, because you can't really tell your daughter, you did knock the pavement, but it's fine. You can drive, So anyways, it's a delicate situation, but Bhrigu basically, it's a lovely conversation, all set in the right meter as well. And there's a back and forth conversation where the father sends the son out, what is truth? The son goes searching and comes back and says that food is the truth. And the father says, close but no cigar, keep going. And it keeps going, until it gets to the answer. I won't reveal the answer because it's something nice you can look up and see. But that's a conversation of Bhrigu. The last one is, we're in the Ananda Ashram, and this is Brahmananda, not just temporary bliss, eternal bliss, happiness to the highest degree. And this is the beautiful expression of the bliss. And it speaks about something five layers that we actually have, like an onion, the panchakoshas, that we made up of a food body, and then we made up of a breath body, and then we made up of a mind body, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha. Now, we as human beings are a very rare species. Yes, there is 8 billion of us. It seems like a lot, but in the universe it is a fraction. It is very rare. It is said in the scriptures, that of all living, of all the species, to be born as a human being is the rarest gift. So just the person sitting next to you, just tap them on the shoulder, because that is a fantastic boon and a fantastic gift. We share with the rest of the 8.4 million species, mosquito, buffalo, elephant, and spiders and everything. We share with them the first 3 sheets. They have a food body, they have breath body, they have a mind body, but it stops there. But the human being has the next layer that can go deeper. What is that? It is the intellect body. We can tell, we've got a moral compass to tell between good and bad, doing dharma or adharma. We've got that moral compass. That's the key difference. The human being is such a rare gift, a boon. So that is the intellect. And because of that, we can enter into the bliss. Isn't that beautiful? And be in Paramanand, Brahmanand forever. Okay, so that's cool. So we got Rig Veda, Yajur Veda broken up into 2 parts. Krishna Yajurveda, which is further, which became also part of Taittiriya Upanishad, is derived from there. Taittiriya Upanishad is broken up into 3 parts. Now Shukla Yajurveda, you must get back to the character. What happens to Yajnavalkya? Imagine how dejected he feels. And at the same time, it's a beautiful thing. Mother Radha was once asking Krishna's flute, Murali, "Oh Murali, you are so close to the Lord. He takes you everywhere. He plays with you. How can I be that close?" And the flute responds to her and says, "Come on. Let the Lord's whisper and melody and symphony and harmony play through you. Let His will take over." That's why if we look at the beautiful photo of Krishna and Arjuna, who is the charioteer? Krishna. He is the Sanatana Sarthi, the eternal charioteer. He is the eternal Uber driver of our life. So in the same way, Yajnavalkya, feeling completely dejected, is also hollow and empty. He's become now a flute. What does he do? But in that, there's also a beautiful blessing. He continues his tapas and his meditation, and he prays to Lord Surya Bhagavan. And there's a beautiful chant in the Vedas, Surya Namaskara, and it says, "Mitra Ravi Surya Bhanu Kakapushan Hirani Garbhamari Chapitya Savitrat Kabaskara Vyonama." And it gives 12 different names: Mitra, Savitur, Bhaskar, Hirani Garbha, of the sun. And it's about the sun being the friend, the sun being the healer, the sun being the bestower of all blessings. And we just realize that Vedas is telling us as well every day the sun comes out. We're lucky in Cape Town as well. We have beautiful days of the sun. If you just look at the sun, that sun you can communicate and talk to. He's waiting just to speak to us. The sun comes every day out. Let us just say thank you, Lord Surya. We just have to say thank you. Out of 8 billion people, how many says thank you to the sun every day? But the sun keeps us alive. So he goes to the sun, Lord Surya, and he contemplates on the sun god. The sun god also teaches, we're going a lot of branches, but the sun god also taught Hanumanji the Vedas. And sun god said, I have to move. Hanumanji said, I will move with you. And Hanumanji was standing like this, the sun was facing him, and Hanumanji was flying backwards while the sun taught him the Vedas. So the sun god saw the love and devotion of Yajnavalkya. So he decided he's going to come down on the earth, and he incarnated as a Vaji, in the Sanskrit horse. Came down as a horse and taught him this portion of the Veda known as Shukla Yajurveda. So the direct translation is Krishna Yajurveda is black, Yajurveda, Shukla is white, and that's how the 2 parts came about for the Yajurveda. This next one, who wants to try? Samaveda. Beautiful. The Samaveda. And this is just the musical notation and the portion when the rituals take place, or there will be beautiful songs that will be sung. And the last one? Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so then we can go into a bit more of the theory part before we jump into some fun practical aspects and chanting of the Veda. We'll just hop onto it very quickly because it's always nice to know as well. Because I don't know if I've got enough questions for the sweets because there's so many. I don't want to be short. This is for me.
You can give 2 per answer. You can give 2 per answer.
Okay. So I think I can take this away as well. You want to take a photo in your mind? Because with the Marma now we've got photographic memory. I used to have a photographic memory, but I ran out of film. It was a joke. I can have to show that sometimes I hold a straight face after saying a joke. So the painter was doing renovations, and he's doing renovation in the room, and then they had to move the bed out. So he said, Kabir, you can't sleep here tonight. I said, no problem, I can sleep on the roof. And I just held a dead face, and he was like, are you serious? It was really funny. Okay, great. So we'll go through this part of it quickly because I don't want the session to be just theory based. It'll be fun. Oh, we can move to the fun portion as well. Okay, so we know Veda Vyasa. Let's just call him Vivi. And from that became the 4 portions of Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. And we know that Yajurveda is broken up into 2 parts, which is? Shukla. Perfect. Beautiful. So we can just remember the acronym RISA. From chronological oldest to youngest. RISA. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana. Now each of these are also broken up into further 4 parts. One is called Samhita, one is called Brahmana, one is called Aranyaka, and the last one is called Upanishads. Samhita is just the mantra, expression, Brahmana is like the explanation of the expression. Aranyaka is the forest and how to live in harmony with nature. And Upanishad, we can break up it into Upa, Ni and Shad. To sit down, to sit close, to sit by the preceptor. Walking, picture yourself walking on a hike up the mountain. You've run out of water and it's been a long, quite a steep incline. You get to the top and what do you see? A waterfall. And you sit under the waterfall. And that is the blessings of the Guru. You just sit under and he quenches your thirst, your spiritual thirst. And that is Upanishad. Upanishad also has another term. Ved, Anta. Anta is end, Ved is knowledge. It is the end of the knowledge, but it's also done in this way. You can see it's the last part of Veda. So Ved Anta, the last part, the end of the Veda gives us the Upanishads. So lots of Upanishads there are and lots of teachings from it. We spoke about the Taittiriya Upanishad, there's also the Ishavasya Upanishad. And in there lies just incredible messages and teachings which are eternal. Okay, then there's also, along with this, we have the Upa Veda. Upa is like secondary or applied knowledge, and this is just 4 of them. First one is Dhanur Veda, which is the knowledge of the archery. Sorry, first one is Ayurveda, and that's just the healing and the well-being and the medicinal property of the Veda. Next one is Dhanur. Dhanur Veda is the archery part. And if you think about it in life, in today's life, how does it apply? It's about strategy, it's about management, it's about navigating between, ambiguous or difficult times and trying to see what is the solution. So it's about focus and reaching the goal. Okay, cool. Ayurveda, then Dhanur Veda, and then the Gandharva Veda, and this is the also like the celestial music part of it. And then the last one is Artha Shastra, which is also like economics and how wealth should be operated in a dharmic way, like the 4 goals of life, Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma and Artha should be grouped together so that earned wealth in a righteous way, and the Kama or the desire should be for Moksha, or liberation at the end of the day. So often in today's times we link Artha and Kama together to have the desire for wealth, but not the desire for the goal of life. Okay, so we're going to do one more, and then we're done with the theory, and then I think we'll press the enthusiasm of Mangali. So then the last one sort of is Ved Anga. Anga is like a limb. So if you picture the Veda as like a body, these Angas are like limbs. And they are Kalpa, Shiksha, Vyakaran. Sorry. You're welcome to yawn. Please be free. Vyakaran, Nirukta, Chandas, and Jyotish. Okay, cool. Let's stop. Kalpa, so Vedanga is just like 6 parts. Kalpa is like the ritual part. Shiksha, we spoke about the pronunciation. Vyakaran is grammar. Nirukta is etymology or the deeper meaning of the Veda, the word for word. Chandas, we spoke about the meter. And Jyotisha is the astrological part of the Veda. Okay, so basically, to recap before we take this, oh, it's 7 already. Oh gosh. Quick. Oh, you spent too much time on this. Okay, we'll go through quickly. Veda Vyasa, the compiler.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It flew for me, but it must have felt for hours for everybody else. We're still on Friday. We're still on Friday. Okay, Veda Vyasa. His other AKA is Krishna Dvaipayan. Compile Vedas into 4 parts, Raisa. Each of them is broken up into 4 additional parts, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranika, Upanishad. Then you get additional Upaveda, Ayurveda, medicinal, Dhanurveda, archery, Gandharva Veda, the musical, Arthashastra, the economics. Vedanga, you get Kalpa, the ritual, Shiksha, pronunciation, Vyakaran, grammar, Nirukta, etymology, Chandas, meters, and Jyotisha, the astronomy. Okay, this we're gonna ask a lot of for the sweets. But don't worry about whether it's right or wrong. Everyone will get a sweet at the end.
I want to be your child.
Okay, now we can move on to some fun aspects of the Veda. So we know that the rishis and rishikas, they would tune into this divine frequency and they would try and understand, or rather not understand, just express what they recall. And it has been meticulously passed down. So when the Vedas, if we think about it, how is it such that we can chant the Vedas today? When back then, they had clouds, they didn't have iCloud. So how did they store all of this beautiful knowledge? And how is it such that once they received it, it was meticulously fostered and preserved? So they would have a system of chanting and a way of recitation. And one of the systems is known as a pata, recitation style. And it's about 11 or 12 of them, with the most advanced one being the Ganapata. And the Ganapata is such that when you chant a particular verse, it's set in a particular sequence. So should we have some fun and see what that sequence is? Would everybody like to know the formula of the Ganapata?
Yes.
Cool. I love the enthusiasm. Oh no. Ishima, can you please do a bell? Yasha is an artist. He's a graphic designer. He's a chef and graphic designer. I always... Like a squirrel. Very big.
Very big.
It looks like a pacifier.
Okay, to start again.
Perfect. Yes.
Ah.
Beautiful bell. Let's give him a Shabbat. Okay, so you know when you go to the temple bell, and most spiritual places would have that sound of the bell, and you stand under it, and just that vibration, it lasts. And you could just hear it fade out as well, and it gives a vibration in the whole body. And this, they call it sonority. The sound vibration is so powerful. That is the feeling of the Veda. So let's look at an example using a nursery rhyme. I'm not sure if you know this nursery rhyme. Okay. Humpty Dumpty sat on Humpty Dumpty all the king's horses couldn't put Humpty
We've passed the Vedas.
Absolutely. So now with Ganapata, the magic formula of chanting, it is set in a particular sequence, magic formula. We are disrupting the hidden treasures of the Vedas by sharing this magic formula. And the magic formula is just in a number. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What does that mean? Is it the Matrix? This is pretty cool. So, what they would do is to meticulously preserve it. They would do it in such an advanced way so that there's no mistake, because it follows a sequence, so something can't be missing. So let's try it. What they are saying is there are 13 sort of placements, we can call it, that needs to be followed. So we take the first 3 words to start with, which is Humpty, Dumpty, and Sat, right? You can see that? That's the first 3 words of the nursery rhyme. We're going to put Humpty as 1, Dumpty as 2, Sat as 3. Right? Now place it into this formula. Let's try. So we're going to say, oh sorry, let's do it this way. Humpty, Dumpty, Dumpty, Humpty, Humpty, Dumpty, Sat, Sat, Dumpty, Humpty, Humpty, Dumpty, Sat. Incredible! Give yourself a round of applause. You've just chanted the Ganapata. The timeless essence. This is the most hardest chant, the hardest way of recitation. So once that happens, what happens next? Then you get rid of Humpty. I'm sorry, Humpty. You have to go. Now everything shifts to the left. So Dumpty becomes 1, Sat becomes 2, On becomes 3. You see what's happening here? So then it just goes. You can use, actually, the way that the Creator created His creation is just incredible. Look at how beautiful. Our hands can actually 3 parts, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Incredible. So you might notice that when Vedas are being chanted in this particular way, they may be counting as well and moving, and oh, beautiful. Okay. So then they would chant Dumpty, Sat, Sat, Dumpty, Dumpty, Sat, On. Excellent. Then you get rid of Dumpty, Sat becomes 1, On becomes 2, Sat on A. A becomes 3. You get it?
Yes.
Okay. So the same can be applied to the chants. We had a beautiful invocation, Ganapati Prarthana. So we take that part there and we can do Gananan Tva Tva Gananan Gananan Tva Ganapatim Ganapatim Tva Gananan Gananan Tva Ganapatim Tva Ganapatim Ganapatim Tva Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Havamahe Ganapatim Tva Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe. See? So it can be applied to anything. Okay, so that's cool. So Vedas is fun, right? Amazing. Ganapata. Okay, sure. It's already 2 to 8. We need time for the questions. Okay, we'll stop in 10 minutes. No, in 5 minutes we'll stop. We'll just go through a quick. That's why Vedas is like ocean. But even if we just taste a bit, it encapsulates the sweetness of the ocean. When I was 17 years old, I was walking in the kitchen one day, as I fondly like to do, and open a cupboard for snacks. And then my mom had got a CD from India, and on the CD, an elderly man, in his voice he sounded elderly and wise, he was saying that this particular chant is for retentive memory, excellent results in academics when practiced. I was like, what? And good career growth. So I was, struggling academically. I should have been a rugby player because my results was an H. I had 2 brain cells and 1 was a shadow. And when I heard this, I was like, wow, like the benefits of it. What is the benefit? You got to clicks, get 2 or 3 for the price of 2. You get the club card. Steer Kili code Tuesday's movies half price, What is the benefit? This is incredible. Smart shopper, 60s thing. So I was like, wow, the benefit of this is X and Y and Z. I'm going to get amazing results and all these things. So I experimented. They say we can't experiment with truth, we can only experience it. So I just tried to practice this beautiful chant which is called the Veda Suktam. And in the Veda Suktam, it's a prayer to this energy, this goddess of learning, Saraswati. And the verses are so beautiful. It says, Jihva, my tongue, me madhumattama. May my tongue be sweet like honey. So it's saying that, in the Vedas, the poetry is so beautiful. May my tongue be sweet like honey. May what I speak be so sweet to the listener. May I, not injure them in any way. May I not hurt them in any way. May I be encouraging and may I lift their spirit in some way. May it be sweet like honey to them. And the chant is so beautiful. It says, Veda Devi Jushamana na aga Vishvachi Bhadra Sumanasya Mana. And it continues, and the last part is Mahi Meda Mahi Praja Mahi Yagyastejo Dadatu Mahi Meda Mahi Prajam Mahi Indra Indriyam Dadatu Mahi Meda Mahi Prajam Mahi Suryo Brajo Dadatu. That Meda also translates to genius. May this intellect just blossom forth and may it be illuminated by the sun's rays. So I just kept chanting this and kept chanting this. And what I was searching, what I wanted, just fell away. I didn't care about that academic part because just like eating that paneer butter masala, that feeling of joy was everything. Everything else became secondary. This feeling was like, wow, this is something which is, it's like a bliss. It's not a happiness, it's a bliss. You can feel it when you're singing the bhajan, you're feeling, or meditation, and you're just connected to that divine frequency. So the Vedas, let's leave question answer and everybody gets a sweet. Because I would love everybody to taste the jalebi of the Veda. and walk out today, at least we know why it's chanted certain way. So let's get to that part, which is quite important. So Veda is, we know that it's set to a particular, incredible meticulous. It's from the Kavim Kavinam, the king of poets, the Lord, right? It's firstly the most beautiful expressions, but it's also set so meticulously. So when we're chanting Vedas, and a good chant we can do is Ganapati Pradhana. We have Om. So let's look at this one. Ga, Na, and then let's just look at this line. Shanti. Okay. In these two lines, right, we will follow, it has every single 99% of every single rule you'll find in the Vedas to chant. So we can understand these two lines. You'll be able to chant any verse from the Vedas. How does that sound? Sounds good?
Yes.
Right? Cool. The first one in Vedas, you know, when we think of classical music, right? Like phenomenal artists, Vimshin Joshi, Pandit Jasraj, Lata Mangeshkar. It's such an incredible training that they do. And in music, you know, there is 7 notes. We have Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Mi. Okay. Now, why I want us to feel that Vedas is very easy. We are so intimidated by it at the outset. We should feel with the enthusiasm, marma, that Vedas is easy, and in fact, we are not learning Vedas, we are revising Vedas, because it's within us. It's edukare, it's coming from within. So we are just digging within what is hidden latent within the soil of our soul. Inside these 2 verses teaches us how to chant the Veda with the correct rules. So in Vedas there's 3 things to consider, which is very important. The first one is shiksha, or pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important. But what you hear, it's very important. Vedas is Shruti, that which is heard. So what we hear in Vedas always trumps what we read. Don't worry about the text. You don't have to do your PhD in Sanskrit. What you hear is most important. Think of the Kailicha children. Their hearing is so in tune that they're able to pronounce it. What we hear is very important. Pronunciation. Second one, intonation. Like a lovely example, Swamiji said that in Vrindavan, everyone says Radhe Radhe. But you can adjust your tone in such a way that you can even be angry with the person. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. You know, someone comes to your house, 3 different people. They come to visit me. I go, I'm very happy to see the one person. Hi, oh, you have arrived. You know, a long lost friend, connecting childhood, bells. Next day, another person comes. Oh, you have arrived. I'm neutral. Neither happy nor sad to see the bloke. I'm equanimous. Next day, someone arrives. Oh, you have arrived. Now, did you notice that the sentence and the spelling in the words is exactly the same? But the tone is different, right? Correct. The tone of voice is completely different. For the one, I'm exuberant. For the other, I'm neutral. For the other, I'm down. Right? So that's why Vedas is so important, because we have to see, is it going up, is it middle, or is it down? So in Vedas, it's actually much more easier than learning classical music, because in classical music there are 7 notes. In Vedas, it's just 3. Up, the elevator says up, it says middle. No, I don't think you can have middle in the elevator, just stay on the same ground. Okay? And then down. That's all it is. So we will follow something. You can use any types of rules. I mean, you can use a color-coded rule. We will try use this one, which is known as the IAST, which is in a lot of the scripts nowadays in the scriptures. It's the International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration. Not translation, transliteration. So it's like the phonetic side of it and how to make it pronunciation friendly. And there's just 3 sort of key rules that work with this. So when we're talking about, so getting back before I get to that, so pronunciation is important, intonation, and then the last one is intention. Like when we are chanting Vedas, have that feeling of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is my family, and these vibrations, this Veda should be a seva. I'm spreading this positive energy so that this COVID virus doesn't affect the whole world. I'm spreading this positive energy so that the leaders can have more positive thoughts and more righteous thoughts to make decisions on a macro level. I'm spreading this positive energy so that it can heal Mother Nature. It should be so expansive, right? Because energy never stops. So it's coming from our heart and just spreading through and encompassing the whole of creation. So the intention is very important. So pronunciation, intonation, and intention, the feeling behind it is very important for us. Okay, cool. Now we have the 3 rules. So let's look at the letter A. Okay? If it's just written as A, firstly that's singular. So now we will look at the intonation rules first. A, right, is just middle. If A needs to go up, we put just a vertical up there. Okay, so let's actually write it. So this is middle, this is up, and if A needs to go down, we put a horizontal below. That's all. That's all it is. Then you have pronunciation. Let's take this away. Which is just telling us that if A has a horizontal above it now, we're just stretching it. That's all it is. So A becomes A. That's all. Then if we have to connect, a horizontal and these 2 vertical lines, this is known as Dirgha Swarita. It's a double accent. Then it's just a double sound, but the sound goes like a wave. And we've heard this in many chants. Let's look at Trembakayajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Vadivarkaniva Bandhanan Mrityormukshe Amamritaat. That's Dirgha Swarita. And then the last 2 are like, you see this little dot over here above the ma? That is a chameleon. The ma, you know when a chameleon goes in a branch and it changes according the color, according to the context? So that looks at this next letter, which is a ta, and basically, in this particular case, when it's followed by a th, this chameleon changes to a n sound. So if we think, let's just try and chant this quickly. We have Om. Om is middle. We can put any scale. Any scale means chant at any scale. It can be a low scale, a very high scale. But once you start a scale, that is your middle scale. So your tanpura is playing the drum. That is Om followed on there. Now Ga, is it going high, low, or middle? Going low, correct. Very good. This is low. That is high. And that is middle. Okay. Om Ga is singular A, and we chant it in syllables. So this Ga is a syllable. Om Ga low. Na, that Na is stretched A, and it's going high. Ga na, na, na. And now because of the anuswar, that ma becomes a na. So we say Om Ga na, na, an, twa. So the rishis was rishikas just incredible, because say we chant Gananam, right? Now when we're chanting the ma part, where are we chanting it? Just try and chant Om Ganana with the ma. Ganana. Our lips, right? Can everyone feel that on our lips? Now chant Twa after that. Ganana Twa. What happens for us to chant the Twa? It opens, and our tongue has to press against our top teeth or top palate Twa to say that Twa, right? Wouldn't it be better? It's from a song, one of the adverts. Wouldn't it be nice if the world was chocolate? Wouldn't it be nice if you could start, like, imagine the plane going off, start at that same point to say that Twa. So if we convert that ma to a na, what happens? To say the na, how do we say the na? Na, right? Gananan Twa. So it's easier. It's ready for the Twa. So that's more or less the reasoning behind the anuswar. So the dot, you see a dot on top of the ma, this is referring to anuswara. So you've learned the middle intonation, the low intonation, the high intonation, the anuswara, the dirgha swarita, the last one. See this last line over here? You see that? Yes. Wow! The whole packet. Very, very well done. Thank you. Wow! Excellent. Visarga. And the visarga is basically this H with the dot at the bottom. And what it does is it's a continuation of the sound onto the next sound, onto the next letter or syllable. So it's like Om Shantish. So that this accent over here is like, you could say, is a sh sound. Om Shantish. Shantish. So it's looking, it looks at the next part, and it's saying that the next part is a SH sound. So now you have to attach that sound to here. So it becomes Om Shantish. Now what happens if it was a anuswara that was followed by a pa sound? What would happen there? And this we've seen many times in our chants. Ekadantaya vidmahe vakratundaya dhimahe tanno danti. Danti has got anuswar danti with H bottom at the end, followed by prachodaya. What happens? Fa, exactly. When there's anuswar followed by pa, prachodaya, it becomes dantif prachodayat tatyayanaya vidmahe kanyakumari dhimahe tanno durgif prachodayat. So in this case, the followed by a SH becomes Om Shantish, Shantish, Shan. Now what happens to the last one? It comes to the end of the line. What happens there? It's a tricky one, right? In this case, when there's anuswara that's coming to the end, you don't look at the next part, you look at the previous. And the previous is a E sound. So that E repeats itself here. So you might hear this in certain chants. Om Shantish, Shantish, Shanti. If it was a, you'd hear the a continuation before that later. Sisters and brothers, this we can summarize as PIVA. These acronyms are wonderful. Pronunciation, intonation, visarga, and anuswara. This entire 2 lines encapsulates everything. You can chant any verse from the Vedas because it all follows this. Nothing more, nothing less. How's that? We conclude. Thank you, sisters and brothers, for your time. Oh, sweets! Yes. Can just pass it up. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kaviji. Wonderful. That 1.5 hours felt like 5 minutes. It was very wonderful, well represented.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure you have a lot more to share. So maybe if there's a request, we can have another session sometime. Maybe also go a little bit to the practical aspect.
Sure.
It'd be very nice. And any else you know and can share with us would be marvelous.
I forgot to mention one thing.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to just, I don't want to leave on this note without mentioning that all of this is available in a free course, completely free, on a website. The website is I'll also send it to Swamiji and Manafo, and you can distribute on the emails, or you can just see me afterwards and I can take your number and you can vedasforall.org. So vedasforall.org. Vedas for All is an NPO we started. It's completely free of charge, the tuitioning, and the idea is to have Vedas part of school curriculums one day, to get households around the world, across religion, caste, community, race, gender, to chant Vedas, to learn Vedas, to apply the universal teachings as well. And if you go to vedasforall.org/courses, which we'll send, there's a complete course there, online course. You can take 1 year, you can take 10 years, you can take 1 week if you enjoy it, and it goes through everything that we've discussed here, and you will learn 10 chants. Then I'll also send a Veda archive, which is a collection of all the Veda classes we've done on Zoom over the last 10 years, and the text and the audios and the audio tutorials to Swamiji. It's got all the chants from Rudram to Purusha Suktam, Sri Suktam, and there's so much beautiful message of Swami Krishnanandaji that he has shared on this text as well. But you know, it's an ocean, so we can just have a teaspoon to encapsulate the entirety. Another thing that's going to happen for the first time I might need your help, Ashram. I wanted to draw Africa. Okay. On African soil is a prayer, a universal prayer for world peace and harmony. It is called an Ati Rudra Mahayagam. It's where the Sri Rudram, which is a very healing prayer, is chanted over 11 days. And it's going to be held in Durban, and we're just busy trying to put the logistics together. We have a very incredible brother, Shekarji by Vodapalli, and he's going to be coming next month as well to conduct workshops. And he'll also be speaking. So when he has a speaking, I'll send the information, and he's just phenomenal speaker. But he's conducted Atirudras in India, in Badrinath and Tiruvannamalai. In Tiruvannamalai, it wasn't raining for many, many years, and they conducted the Atirudra, and on the second day it started to shower. And he's conducted in Europe. In Europe there's like Budapest, Hungary. They are hungry for the Vedas. Croatia, they all are chanting Vedas. Japan as well, and in the USA they recently concluded not just doesn't like this acronym, but it's Army. The acronym is Army. All about acronyms. Atirudra Mahayajnam. It's where the Sri Rudram is chanted 14,641 times cumulatively. Now the Sri Rudram is one of the most powerful chants for healing and well-being. It's broken up into two parts. Namakam, which lays emphasis on detachment. In the Namakam, it mentions Namaha more than 330 times, and when you break up Na and Ma, it is not mine. So every time you're saying Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, Om Namaste Rudramanyava, every time it's Namo, Namaste or Namaha, you are in a complete state of detachment. Now here's the beauty of it. The next part of the Rudra that follows right after is known as Chamakam. And this is a massive spiritual take-a-lot and Amazon store. You're literally walking with your trolley, you're like, Shanchame, Mayashchame, Priyanchame, Nukamashchame, I'll have peace, I'll have tranquility, I'll have cattle, I'll have good sleep, I'll have good body. It's a juxtaposition, but we just spoke about detachment. Now there's desire. But it's so beautiful that it puts you in a state of complete detachment to ask God not for what you want, but what you need to reach the goal. So beautiful. And so that's going to be a phenomenal. Would love for everybody to join. It truly is not a once in a lifetime opportunity, but in my humble opinion, once in a lifetime's opportunity to join. And if you'd like to, we've got just a few weeks until Sheikh Karbai arrives. If you'd like to be part of the tutoring, I can put you all in my class on a WhatsApp group, and then you can be part of the program to become a Ritvik and sit by the Homam if you'd like that. But there's no pressure at all. And that is happening. And then also want to share that every morning for the last 3.5 years, we've been chanting Vedas on Zoom, and it was started during the COVID, and it's been consecutive for 3 years from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day on Zoom, and people from 5 countries join. We have people from the UAE, America, India, and a lot from South Africa. And there's a Google sheet, and you can just put your name down if you want to chant when you're ready to chant, or you can just listen in. And it just sets the day. It starts with Ganapati Pratana, which you just chanted, and then mandatory it goes to the Rudram Namakam, the Chamakam, and the Purusha Suktam. The Purusha Suktam is so beautiful, and just to say like one line. The first line is Sahasra Shirasha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. That the Creator has 1,000 heads, 1,000 feet, and 1,000 eyes. And Baba gives a beautiful interpretation. He says, message, the inner meaning, and he says that if the rishis had to receive that message in today's times, it would be in terms of billion eyes, billion feet, billion legs, because back then the world only had thousands. What he means to say is that all of humanity, you're walking temples. And then like further in the Purusha Suktam it says, Tripadas Yamritam Divi Tripad Duritva Udait Purushaha. That only one quarter of the Lord's energy is actually manifested. So all these billions of galaxies that the scientists are trying to unravel and discover, it's only one quarter. The vast majority is unmanifested. It's just chilling with the Lord. So that every day we chant, followed by Samana Sukta, which is very important. And then depending on the day, we alternate. So on a Friday, we do Shri Sukta, and then on a Sunday, it's like Surya Upanishad. So this is just to help us get into the practice. And when you, the beautiful message of the satsang, when you, even virtually, when you following along or just contemplating, the sounds just improve and you find your sensitivity to the hearing, and you realize how it improves your chanting, and you're able to chant in the correct intonation. It's a very encouraging group, and welcome to join anytime. Everything for Vedas for All is completely free as well, so there's no cost whatsoever. So that was just the last message. Beautiful thing about the root term, it's so beautiful, but the very first line, which is very rare to find in any other chant of the Vedas, the very first line acknowledges the Lord and greets the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. The very, very first line. And it just sends shivers down your spine because you feel this energy and this rush just towards you, and you tune into that frequency the first thing in the morning. It's beautiful. Thank you, sisters and brothers. Second attempt. Sorry.
So thank you, Kabirji. Actually, you're talking about the rain. So this refers to your grandfather. So 1999, we had a 10-day yagna at the ashram. We were doing Bhagavad Gita every day, chanting Bhagavad Gita and offering. And then Swami Parvati Ananda and Guru Krishna would take turns in sharing. And your grandfather and grandmother used to attend. And then one day he said to me, you know, Swami Venkateswara used to hold 10-day yagnas. On the 10th day it would always rain. And was that hot summer with all the massive fires on the mountain, you remember? Well, on the 10th day it rained. So this is how I always remember your grandfather telling me the story about the 10th day rain, and actually it happened.
That's incredible.
So, thank you so much. Mata, did you want some prasad?
Yes.
Please come again. So yes, thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Does all this advertising mean you're not going to come again?
No.
Are you still going to come again if you want? Yes? Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Satguru Ki Jai Om Tatsagamaya Namaskar.